And this is, I mean, did you carry it like that outside too, or did you still remain humble, but that was just how you carried your craft? Because you know, sometimes it can go the other way. Like me. I mean, you know, once it go, once my I asked
I kept it in myself. Like that's everything that I talk about, like confidence. It's like internal.
Yeah.
Like nothing. I can never. I'm not the guy who's like talking crap or like telling people like, no, I'm that good. No, everything's just like with me, just trying to motivate myself. So all internal confidence.
And this was from back then too.
Yeah,
back then. Still got the afro at this point, or is that cut off?
Still got the fro.
Curls and all that?
All that. No shape up, no nothing.
No shape, no nothing.
No nothing.
Butt naked, just
straight, crazy. Nothing. Curls was going wild.
No headband, no nothing. Yeah.
I was getting called Curly Q all the time. And this was when I guess it was a little earlier, but this was when Austin Rivers, like his hoop mixtape and everything was booming. We was on AAU trips, right? And they calling me Austin Shivers. They just letting me have it. Everywhere I go, I'm getting that type of comparison, and they're just shitting on me everywhere I go.
Yeah. So before, and I'm sorry too, I didn't mean to skip this, because I got to make sure I ask this at every level, because it's changing, obviously. You go to the Cecil Kirk situation, you're playing AAU with them that summer, and you wound up traveling with them that summer, or did you just train with them?
No, I traveled too, yeah.
You traveled with them that summer, you're playing with guys in the city. Do you remember meeting anybody at that time and being like, or do you remember the person that you said at that time that you were just like, damn, this dude is head and shoulders better than everybody in here?
In my age group?
In your age group or just in general at that time? Because you know, you might come in that gym, Cecil, just to lay the land for people. It's like, you might go into Cecil Kirk practice and see other guys from different organizations, but they might be older, could be younger, but who at that time, if you remember, really stood out to you and made you like, damn?
I was on like the 15 team or whatever, and then we still had the 16, 17 team or whatever. So it was like that whole team that was what I thought. I remember the first day I go in there, and it's like coming from the county, and like I wasn't like big on like seeing who was good and seeing who wasn't good. So I come from the county and I'm going down there, and it's the first day of practice, my first time walking in and we're scrimmaging. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna grab the smallest guy out here, and that's what I'm gonna do. That's probably where my best shot is. Come to find out, like, didn't know at the time, but it's Antonio Barton. And I'm like, and I have no idea. So I'm just green, wet behind the ears, and I'm guarding him. And like, it's the first time where I felt like embarrassed, like, because I touched floor and they're going crazy in the gym, and it's just like, damn, like. That's like an eye opener. That's something that you don't forget. And it was like the whole team was like that. So it was like he was on the team, Fresh played on those teams. It was Pee Wee, it was the dude Montre, Jeff Field. Like all these guys were just like the best basketball players I've ever played with. So at that time it was all eye opening. Every time I step in the gym, it's eye opening. So every single time.
I can't imagine, man. I cannot imagine, man. And you guys go on the road and you playing some of these tournaments. What was kind of like some of the memorable trips that you took? Do you remember playing like what tournaments do you remember that stood out to you from then?
I mean, it's like Bob Gibbons, the Boo Williams, like the Pittsburgh Pit Fest or something like that, Peach Jam, something like that. I have no idea.
Peach Jam, I think Peach Jam is in Atlanta.
Something Pittsburgh.
The Pit joint is like some type of jam too, I think.
Something like that, yeah. But I just remember like everybody talking about kids on the other teams. And again, I don't know anybody because I'm not even in the basketball world yet because I don't even care about people outside of me. So it's like we're just going up against like they're like, yeah, he's number 10 in the country. This and that. This team is the top team in the nation. I have no idea. So it's just like I'm just enjoying it, like just soaking it all in.
Coming now, we fast forward back. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but coming back to that 11th grade year, now you come back with the supreme confidence and ready to go. Kind of talk about that 11th grade year, categorize it or summarize it if you can real quick.
So, I mean, that was a year that I thought would go better than how it went. So it didn't go to what I had planned. So Brent's still there, and Brent is the guy. Because Brent he's at Cecil with me too. Like, we basically just followed each other. So he was down Cecil too, and he was doing much better than I was. So he comes back, think of him as a senior with that supreme confidence. So it was like, he's Batman and I'm Robin. And I was cool with it, because that was my guy. Like, I loved him to death. Like, that was my boy. So he was the one who was just going crazy in the county, going nuts. And I'm just supporting Cash. So like it wasn't. I don't say like held me back or anything, but if he wasn't there, I think I would have had more exposure. But I was perfectly fine with being second fiddle because that was my boy, and I wanted him to do good, and he was killing it. So I was like, cool, you do you. I'm just kind of lay low, and when you need me, I'm here. But that's how that junior year was.
And you said y'all was tight, right, and everything. So
that's my boy.
During that time, was he going through a recruiting process? Did anybody come recruit him? Was people coming to the games to see him?
To be honest, I have no idea. No, I have no clue. So they could have been. I have no idea though. No.
Only reason why I asked that because I mean, you playing like you said, you're playing that year. You had that confidence. You get more experience, and things are starting to pick up a little bit. Yeah. Was college on your mind at all for basketball?
No, really.
Not at all. Just playing and kind of going through it.
Yeah.
Damn, that's in 11th grade. It still ain't clicked yet that you nice yet, huh?
No.
Still ain't clicked yet.
No.
Damn. So you have Brent as the leading player on the team. I know you said you're kind of cool with being a second fiddle person, but everybody naturally at some point has a moment. Did you have ever any moments with that, like when you kind of just questioned it, or?
No, I was cool with it.
You was just cool
like
with it.
Like I said, that was my boy. That was one of my closest friends in high school. So
I can understand that.
Yeah, so I liked seeing him go off. Like I was cool with all of it. Didn't care one bit.
I can understand that. So in 11th grade, around the county, are you more familiar with the people in your county at this point?
Yeah, because you play with them over the years, so you start seeing who's who. You start recognizing who's in your grade and who's excelling and who's not. So yeah, it was a few kids like you keep an eye on, but other than that, not really.
Yeah,
I wasn't really worried about it. Wow. Back then, it was like it was a Be More Hoops website, and it was like I was introduced to that, so I kind of would read like see who's good and see who's not, but. I mean, mostly I was just looking for my name to see if anybody mentioned me. Not a damn someone said my name.
Was it? Were you around when digital sports was around?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was all in through that. But listen, digital sports was a great thing. I loved it for sure.
I'm sure you did.
I loved it. It was wonderful. It kind of got me to what I'm doing now, to be honest with you, but. Yeah, it really was one of the motivating factors. So I'm like, I know I can't play basketball forever, but I can do what you doing for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
that's funny.
11th grade, you just had a phenomenal summer coming into it. Good season that year. Did you guys wind up going back to the counties, or was it wasn't as successful as you?
Yeah, definitely a fall off from where we were before.
Okay. So Brent is a senior. You go through the rest of the school year. Obviously, no baseball. That junior year, how did you feel the rest of that time?
It was just like, it's time to go to work. Like I need to get better. Like, cause once the season ended, and then like my AU coach was asking me about like college stuff. I was like, what are you thinking? And I was like, I have no idea. So I felt like I was just running out of rope. So that whole from the time basketball stopped, still I had like no trainers. Like I wasn't doing anything. So until AAU picked up, I was just outside playing again. Like if it was wintertime, it didn't matter. Like I was the kid with the shovel, like moving snow, just so I could shoot in the paint. So that's what I was doing up until then. And then once AAU started, then I just jumped in, like it didn't look back, basically.
Coming back into that 12th grade year, when you said you jumped in full fledged, do you think it was like kind of the biggest blessing for that? To have that kind of environment around you and that supremely helps you to get to the next level?
Absolutely, because I'm even because those teams were loaded, so like I wasn't getting that much time when I played with the older kids. So like when I moved up like an age bracket or whatever, I wasn't playing that much. But every day I'm practicing with them, every single day. So they like just going against them hard every day in practice. Like that helped me so much. And again, just with confidence, like internal confidence, I felt like I was starting to belong. Like I'm excelling, I'm getting a little better, and I'm starting to notice it. And I'm growing, I'm a little taller, I'm more athletic. Like I feel like my body is starting to catch up with me. So yeah, it helps so much, so much. And then again, being around those guys, like we got college coaches coming to the gym every day.
At this point?
Yeah.
Not the year before, but at this point they're there.
Well, even the year before.
Yeah,
and
was that the first time you had been through that too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember this. There was like a Florida coach there. He might have been, I think it was at Florida University or something. I've never shot the ball better. If you asked me then, I was going to Florida. I was going to Florida. I'll tell you, I might have made like 18 for 19 threes in the scrimmages we was doing. And I was like, no, he's going to call me. I know I'm getting it. Yeah, he ain't calling shit. He ain't calling a damn thing. But it was like every day there's big time college coaches and I'm seeing them because everybody else is getting recruited. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that would be cool if I could like just somehow get recruited by one of those dudes. But yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah, I know I asked you in junior year, and this is kind of why I said that then. But when you're doing it now, you're coming into 12th grade, you're getting a little bit more comfortable, you're getting taller, more athletic. Are you dunking yet?
Yeah, I was dunking as a sophomore.
Dunking as a sophomore, so now you dunking, you're more athletic, and you're starting to notice it yourself. So now is college on your mind, or is it more so of the simple, like, because did your brother go to college? Mm-hmm. He didn't go out and go to college, started working and doing his thing. Mm-hmm. I also had the same similar situation. My brother didn't even want to go to school, he wanted to work so he could take care of what we had going on.
Yeah.
So the format for college really wasn't laid yet by anybody. So it really was not even on your mind to a degree because you're not even really seeing it like that.
Yeah.
But having them come and practice every day, did it kind of change your opinion and start to sway you towards thinking about it? Or did you
absolutely.
Still think it was kind of like a realistic thing to do? What was your mindset towards it?
I mean, my mindset was like, the goal was like to always go Division I. It was like, I see all these coaches, I'm like, I have to. Like, I play with this program, it's like I can compete, like I'm holding my own. It's like, I think I know I can do this. Mm-hmm. And then like, yeah, it's like the process of college, you see other guys going through it too, like, damn, maybe I should start thinking. Like, maybe I should start trying to get highlights put together and maybe starting to reach out to people, talking to my coaches about it. So yeah, that's when it really started about to be a senior, that's when it really kicked in.
And at that point, did you have any schools in mind? Like, was it anyone in mind or anybody in mind?
Didn't care.
Send
me wherever. Just let me play college basketball.
For free.
And at that point, it was just let me get somewhere.
I got you.
Didn't even care.
I got you. Yeah. That makes sense, man. 12th grade here now. You had firsthand experience from seeing your brother go through it as a 12th grader. Your main man is 12th grader at being the man. But now it's Nick's turn coming into being a man. And just talk about 12th grade and kind of the role that you played for the team, because now it's no Brent here, it's no older brother here, it's now you.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody that's accompanying you on this trip, and so you're the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Just talk about the roles that you had to play in your senior year and how that year went to you.
Well, I mean, at first it started off a little shaky. So the tryouts November 15th. I get diagnosed with diabetes sometime, probably a couple days, maybe like a week or two before the season started. So I'm in the hospital and I don't even know what's going on. I don't know like my sports future. So it's just like, okay, now I have to deal with this. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Didn't know anything about being a diabetic, nothing. So that all kind of started me off pretty shaky, especially me and just my family, because nobody
knows.
Yeah, nobody had no idea what was going on. So that happened like a couple weeks before tryouts, and then once that got squared away and once I finally felt a little more comfortable dealing with that, then the season kicked in. And like I said, I was just confident. Like that year, that was probably one of the most confident I've ever been that year. So knowing that the weight of the team is on your shoulders, it was a good feeling to me. Like I enjoyed that. I liked the responsibility that you had to go out and do your thing in order for us to win. And that was cool to me. I didn't mind it at all.
Because these are your friends you're playing with, the same group of guys.
It's my boys.
So it's man, I don't think people know that feeling, man. When you got your guys with you and you got to get, they know, know, you know what I'm saying? They know you still one of the boys.
Yeah.
But it's like, we got out here, you got to come on with the bullshit. Big games, and what was the biggest game you had that year?
Probably the first game. We played Catonsville, the rivals. And it was like, that was like my first time being on the floor as a senior, knowing that responsibility, feeling that confidence, and it was just like, I'm ready. Like, I'm trying to go as hard as I can. I remember, like, I had, like, 6 dunk attempts. Just anytime I was just trying. Like, it didn't matter what it was. And, like, I played well. We won the game. And that was just, like, the start of it. That's where my confidence just built from there. So, yeah, that season was... It was fun. It was, like you said, with your boys, everybody knowing, like, practice every day. Because it's like you're still competing with your friends, and they know how to push your buttons.
Exactly.
I'm fighting with my friends every day in practice. It's like, just because, again, like, they know, like, I'm like the best player on the team, so they're double teaming me in practice. They're just hacking me for no reason, just doing stuff and they know it's gonna piss me off. But it was the best because I'm with my boys. We're competing. We're winning. Yeah, it was fun, man.
Doing it together.
The best.
No, I love that, man. I love those type of situations, dog. Biggest game against Catonsville coming out. You go through the rest of that season. How did you guys do?
We did. It was good. We had a winning record. It wasn't like we was top of the county. We weren't bottom. We was like a little better than average.
Competitive.
Yeah, it was always competitive. Yeah.
And you felt like you gained the respect of those around you and your peers at that point, by that point, because I know before, you kind of feel like you're playing against guys that you say you're trying to get to. But now at this point, you're in 12th grade and you're playing around the county. Do you feel like you attained the respect of those around you, your surrounding peers, by what you were able to put out there on the court?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Just because, you know who respects you by how they play you.
Exactly.
I'm getting 4 out the 9 every single game. I'm at full court, just don't let them touch the ball. And I'm playing well. I'm averaging over 20 points a game. I'm starting to get that recognition from the county, which is nice too. It's people are talking about oh yeah, he's player of the year, this and that. So yeah, it was nice. It was cool.
What player gave you the roughest time?
It probably wasn't a singular player. It was probably Milford.
Milford?
Yeah, Tevin Hanner. He was on, we played them my sophomore year in the county championship, so I had to deal with him every year. And he was just athletic, had a motor like no other, and he was skilled, always gave us problems. Bigger, he could jump, he could do everything, he gave us problems. Nemo from that team gave us problems. He just came out of nowhere to me. I just remember him that senior year just being you could tell he took another step. And it was then Ike was on that team, and they were just a problem.
It just gave you some trouble.
The whole team was a problem.
I know you said you felt like that was your best game in that first game, but what was the reason why? Because you said you were just trying to get 6-7 dunks, but outside of that, it wasn't another game that you had that you felt like you got off on somebody that you was waiting to catch, or.
I feel like I was it was that point I was getting off on every team. I wasn't having bad games at that point because I felt like I was better than everybody.
Okay.
So it was I had big numbers against Catonsville. I played big against Pikesville, and I'm trying the Dundogs. We're smoking them, and I'm playing well. It's it was a lot of games where I feel like I put up a lot of points. But
played against Vaughn.
He was a year older than me. And,
how y'all do?
Oh man, we lost in overtime that game. I think Vaughn had 40 plus.
Yeah, he was crazy in high school.
Vaughn was ridiculous.
Both sports.
And I never knew he played football until we got the St. Mary's or whatever.
Yeah.
No idea, but I just remember him being so fast, end line to end line. It was what is going on?
Yeah, it was, he was ridiculous, bro.
He had 40 plus on us. 40 plus.
I was looking at, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Man, I looked at his numbers one time, bro. It was 28, 28, 25, 40, 35, 26.
Vaughn was crazy.
I'm like, what in the hell is going on here, yo?
Crazy.
Then I looked and I seen it was I think they was that might be his second sport. I'm like, what?
That was wild.
But yeah, man, that's some wild stuff. But
he killed us, and then my senior year we ended up playing Lake Clifton in one of the playoffs or whatever, and Josh Selby's on that team.
Yeah.
And that's hoop mixtape. Everybody got the recorders out, the sidelines is packed, and that was another guy who was just torching us. So
yeah, I think he was number one in the country
at that point. Yeah, he was number one. Yeah. And my whole AAU team was on that team too. Yeah. So it's
oh yeah, because they had him, Cleveland Melvin on that team?
They were older. So
he was a year. Cleveland was a year older, right?
I think he was 2 years older than me.
2 years older than you. Yeah, you're right.
But that team, it was Deron Johnson, it was Jeff Fields, it was LaRon Fisher, Lil Mike, and it was that whole team was the guys I played AAU with. So it was tough. They were so good.
I got them. I played them in high school. They were 7th in the country, public school.
Oh, that's when they was going crazy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, yo. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think we was gonna beat them. Got mine though.
Yeah.
Senior year, closing out, you get to the playoffs, and who did you play in the playoffs? You said first. Do you remember?
I think Lake was the first one.
First game.
Yeah, I think it was the first one.
Low seed, so you had to play a high seed.
I think that was the first one.
And wound up getting put out.
Just like that.
Went up to had to play up late too.
Yeah, like, yep.
Yeah,
High school's career's over.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah, very quick.
I know that was a rough one.
Yeah.
So you get to this point, and you take a look back. How would you categorize your high school career, or I should say, how would you summarize your high school career as far as from a sports perspective and then socially?
Socially, like the same thing. Like I ran with the same guys I was in elementary school with.
Mm-hmm.
I was quiet. I kept to myself, but it was the same dudes that I've grown up with my whole life, and that's what I stuck with. So that was basically from what I've known from elementary school. Sports-wise, I grew a lot, and I wish I was a little more like I wish I had a little more you in me.
Mm.
Like I wish I had a little more like external exuberance where I was like really like coming into my own, because I was always like the humble kid. I was quiet, so people kind of took that for weakness, and that's something that I wish I had a little more of, was like maybe a little more cockiness, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, no, it was great. Loved high school. Lions down for life.
No, for sure.
Life for life.
I respect that 1,000%.